Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the MadCap. I'm Jasmine Pazzano.
And I'm DeClara. On today's Cray Cray Epi, find out all about an alarm clock that reminds you of your impending doom.
Too close for comfort? A prostate cancer campaign that cups your curiosity.
A serious and seriously old BBC journalist gets inked.
Can a convicted felon turn a crime-ridden city around?
And the Ryersonian's Jean Codin joins us with the latest doll from City Hall.
But first... Good morning, Toronto. Or is it good night? Forever. Product developers have come up with a very morbid way to wake people up. It's called Alarm Clock, a real original. The product tells you how long you have left to live. But that's not all it does. By connecting to Wi-Fi, a creepy voice tells you more facts about your life.
How much money do you have right now? How many people know you exist?
The company claims Alarm Clock doesn't make up the facts, it just reports them. Greg, I feel like this is such a useless product. I wouldn't be getting anything out of it. It checks your social media networks to check how many friends you have, and I don't talk to the majority of people on my Facebook. And the days until you die is only an approximate guess, and no one really wants to think about that anyway. And in general, this wouldn't inspire me to wake up at all.
You know, Jasmine, I agreed with you when we first looked at this story, but now I think it might be a good idea. I think if, even though it's obviously not scientifically correct, I mean, there's a bunch of these different simulators online, it kind of might remind people in the morning to live each day to the fullest. I mean, we only get one life to live, and maybe if they're reminded of that every day, they might, have a good day and live it to the fullest.
Do you sleep in a coffin, Greg?
No.
Well, apparently this is a product worth investing in. The Huffington Post says more than 200 groups have backed Alarm Clock, and $20,000 have been put into the product.
We saw our next story in the Mirror out of the UK. So, we all know Movember is a campaign that supports prostate cancer awareness. Well, 3 lovely French ladies decided to grab the attention of some male pedestrians. They cupped the balls of male strangers in the streets. The guys didn't seem to mind, but they were definitely shocked. Each grab raised €10 for the cause. In total, these ladies raised €430. That means 43 men had a better day. Jasmine, would you do this?
Oh, I would totally do this.
I know you would.
It's super effective because no one expects young ladies to just go up to men and do that, which is probably why the guys went for it. But as cute and cheeky as this is, if you really think about it, if men were touching women in the streets, it's harassment.
That's a no-no.
It's assault. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't flip it around. And now on to more daring deeds. At the ripe old age of 75, BBC journalist David Dimbleby got his very first tattoo. He described his tattoo to the Radio Times as a quote-unquote modest image of a scorpion on his right shoulder. The animal represents his star sign, Scorpio. Dimbleby has been the BBC's go-to guy for election coverage for over 30 years. He got the tattoo while filming his latest BBC series, Britain and the Sea. This guy, Greg, is a man after my own heart. I can probably see myself getting a tattoo when I'm as old as he is because you really have nothing to lose. And in his words, you're only old once. And I love that he got his star sign. I'm a huge believer in astrology, and I'd probably get a tattoo to do with my star sign, Aquarius.
Jasmine, I'm not as big of a fan as astrology as you, but I mean, I agree. This is something that I might do. When I think of tattoos at this age, I mean, the commitment for your whole life kind of scares me.
Me too.
So I think, the older you get, the less time you have to live with it. And, it's just another experience that you have in life. So, Toronto, we may have a crack-smoking mayor on our hands, and now a city in the States have a convicted murderer on council. A man who spent 19 years behind bars for murder will be joining Flint, Michigan's city council. Woz Davis pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in 1991. He was only 17 years old when he went to jail. Davis shot a man 3 times because he believed the man sexually assaulted his mother. He's not the only convicted felon to win a seat in Flint's council last Tuesday. The Huffington Post says Eric Mays pleaded guilty to felonious assault in 1987, and he was put on probation for a year. He's now part of Flint City Council. There aren't any laws in Michigan banning convicted felons. Flint is known for its high crime rate, and Davis told NBC he's the man to turn the city around.
So I can come to the kids and come to the young men and men like myself who come with sympathy, not empathy, to let them know that I don't imagine what you're going through. I know what you're going through because I've been through it.
Now, Jasmine, obviously Flint was made famous because of Michael Moore, and it's a city that has dealt with a ton of this crime problems in the past. And I think maybe it might be a good thing for this city. I mean, it's clear that nothing has worked in the past, so maybe this is something new and fresh that, might turn it around.
I agree. I think that he's a great role model for taking the initiative and trying to turn his life around. And he said that he started studying politics while he was in jail, so he really did make the most of his time. That proves something about his character. Mayor Rob Ford is undoubtedly the man of the year in Toronto, for all the wrong reasons. There's the video of Ford in a drunken stupor, threatening to kill someone. There's the crack video scandal that never seems to end. He admitted yesterday that he has bought illegal drugs during his time as mayor. And now, there's the allegation that Ford told a former policy advisor that he would bang her pussy. He responded this morning with this statement, quote, "I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home," end quote. Now you can bring this vulgar bundle of fun home with you in bobblehead form. Bobblehead versions of our mayor were flying off the shelves at City Hall yesterday. All proceeds went to charity. Jean Codin was at City Hall to get the latest on the hottest doll to hit the city. Jean is here with us. Take us to Toys R Us. I mean City Hall.
Thanks for having me. So last Wednesday, City Hall decided to sell 1,000 of Rob Ford bobbleheads in support of United Way. My first impression was that it was going to be all proceeds were going to go to United Way, but a sign was put up on the morning of Wednesday, and it said only portions of it. So that begs the question, is City Hall profiting from these sales?
I didn't hear about that.
Actually, I didn't hear about that either.
Yeah, so during the weekend, it was there was a lot of promos of there are going to be bobbleheads sold. It was an unfortunate kind of coincidence that it was sold in the middle of his scandal, but I guess it really helped with the sales. And once 10:30 a.m., they came rolling in with their tables and the bobbleheads, and a sign was put up, and it said portions of the proceeds go to United Way. So one has to wonder where the rest of the profits will go to.
You never found out where the profits were going?
No, the mayor had no comment.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, Jean, when I first saw these bobbleheads, I've personally seen Mayor Ford in person, covering him, obviously, and they don't exactly look like him. They're a lot slimmer and they almost look like Doug Ford more than the mayor.
I agree.
Yeah, I was live blogging that day, and I got a lot of retweets saying, "Doesn't this look more like Doug Ford? Did they mess up the labels?" I don't know, but it does look a little slimmer than him too, but maybe it's aspirational.
So these bobbleheads sold out. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, they had to turn people away.
Wow. And now Torontonians are pawning these off on Craigslist. Tell us about that.
Well, so far we've looked at eBay, where the bidding wars have been very active. At the end of Wednesday, it was about $300 worth.
Wow.
Kijiji, there's an asking price. It's not even a bidding war at Kijiji. They're asking for $500 for each. Wow. They're not even signed. It was bought before Mayor Rob Ford came down from his office to sign the bobbleheads.
Well, thanks so much for coming in to talk about the dolls.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for this week's episode of the MadCap. Just a reminder that you can view all the stories we mentioned in the links below our podcast. And remember, even though it's getting chilly, don't wear socks with sandals.
And be grateful for technology. More than 50% of the people in the world have never made or received a phone call. I'm Greg DeClara.
And I'm Jasmine Pazzano.